Sports Matters TV, bringing the sports home.
They don't realise that. Obviously, I help with their form and everything, but the thing that I really work with is their mindset and just bringing their confidence up. And that for me is massive. It's very fulfilling. So that'll always be a huge part of who I am and what I do as well. But yeah.
They say when you have a background in fitness, obviously it helps. Like, there's a lot of injuries that can be prevented. Obviously, you know your body well. The whole gymnastic thing obviously helps with stretching. That's going to benefit you in the long run.
My fitness background is massively, helped with where I am now as well. It's got me to train smart, to know when I'm starting to get a niggle, I'll work around it before it gets too bad. And yeah, the rehabilitation side, I've had my fair share of injuries. I know if I pull my shoulder or, my knee or like I've popped my elbow before in wrestling where I've come down on it and it's popped out. And that even still now, I work around that. But so it's definitely helped. You need to know your stuff when it comes to being an athlete as well. I know you've got people around to help, but it's good that I can assist that and do that myself. So.
Yeah. Like you put in hours. Obviously, with wrestling, you can't fake it. There's so many bumps. You know what I mean. There's so many life-risking, moves. Yeah. How do you find the training when it becomes, when it comes to being a wrestler? Obviously, it's hard. You know what I mean. A lot of risks. How do you find that in general?
The training for me when I first started was just mind-blowing. I couldn't get my head around. It took me ages to get my head around the psychology of wrestling. I'm still getting my head around it now. It's a minefield. It really is. So in terms of the bumps, my first ever bump was actually in my WWE tryout.
Yeah.
And I remember being told, feed up properly. I was being shouted at and I was just like, I don't even know what feeding up is. So I just get up off the floor. And so for me, that was that experience, that my first bump being in that ring in my tryout. I actually felt a bit of like winded myself on one of them because you really need to know how to bump. And every now and again, you're not going to take a good bump. You are going to fall on your neck. You are going to fold in half or, it's the nature of the business. But the more you can learn to fall, the better. Like I actually was out on the run with a client back last summer and I tripped. But as I tripped, I should have face planted and fell completely flat. But I did a shoulder roll and stood up out of it. She looked at me like, I was just like, I don't know where that come from. Because you learn to fall, that should be the first thing you learn as a wrestler. Learning to roll out moves and just as many rolls as you can. I remember going to the gym and I looked like a crazy person in the corner, just rolling and rolling and rolling and, and back bumps as well. You need to know how to fall. That's what I would say. And that was, for me, was the start of it. And that's when I was like, I was coming home bruised from the ropes as well. Hitting the ropes you have to condition to that. So yeah, it's definitely one of those things where you've got a lot of conditioning to do in terms of your body. Like now I don't really bruise from hitting the ropes. You still feel it, but I used to come home with lines across my back from bruising and yeah. But I love it. I love a bit. You can tell how I train and everything. I love the no pain, no gain. So it's all good for me.
And like speaking of COVID-19, obviously the whole world has come to a standstill. I would assume you were definitely, you should be out in America right now, obviously, but we can't be out that way.
I was meant to have moved on the 25th of March. My flights were all booked and set, and I think Boris announced on the 20th no one could leave the country. I think it was really weird how it all came about, because obviously I came back from Thailand. I did a bit of traveling while I could as well. I've always wanted to go to Thailand for training, so while I could, I'd done that experience. They need more wrestling schools out there though, because I did a lot of grappling and Muay Thai, which helps because you transition that into performance, of course. But I came back and my plan, everything had gone to plan. I sold my car, so everything was going to plan, and all of a sudden I just couldn't fly. So it's frustrating because I've not really had my time yet at all, but I know when it comes, hopefully it'll just be up from there for me, because I mean, I'm ready for it now. When I first got signed, I lost a lot of self-confidence, and I felt like I almost had to start again with who I was and rebuild everything that I had already built from the start. It was really weird. But now I'm ready to just kind of give it everything, really.
And have you chosen whereabouts in the States you're going to move to? Have you picked a special location where you're going to base yourself on the way out?
Yeah, so I'm going to be in Atlanta, mainly because that's kind of All Elite Wrestling's base now. That's where Cody and Brandy live. It's where QT lives in the school that they've just, Cody's just named it the Nightmare Factory now with QT. And it's going to be the start, I think, of All Elite Wrestling school, you know. I'm not sure where it will go, but it's exciting.
Good. So. Have you spoke to Cody yet? Have you got a chance to have a little chat with him?
Since COVID, or?
Yeah, since COVID, has he been on? Obviously, they're still in touch. Obviously, they're going to keep you updated and stuff.
I mean, my point of contact is Brandy more so. I think Cody's a very busy man as well as Brandy, but Brandy's more there for the female roster. Awesome. I mean, Cody's obviously got the male roster probably on his case a lot, so doesn't need us girls as well. But yeah, so Brandy kind of looks out for us a lot. But yeah.
Speaking of that female roster, there's some great names in that female roster. Awesome Khan, you know, Penelope Cruz. Are you looking forward to grappling and getting your hands on some of these ladies?
I am, and I'm again one of the recent signees. I mean, not recent now; it's been a good couple of months. Is Chris Statlander?
Yeah.
I am very, very excited to get a match with her. Yeah, she's definitely someone I've got my eye on. But
and like
as a face-on-face match, and we'll see where it goes. You never know what feud could build, but I just think she's extremely talented and she'd be a really good match. So
I think so.
Yeah.
Definitely. And like, speaking of championship goal, obviously you've got big sights, you know, where can you just, like, providing COVID-19 all clears and, you know, we're back to normality before the end of the year, can we see gold around that waist maybe this time next year?
Sorry, repeat that. This is your accent. I'm struggling a little bit. What's the last bit?
So, providing COVID-19 is gone and we can go back to normality and we can live a normal life, do you reckon we're going to see AEW like gold around the waist? Can we see that? There's so much in that women's division, but can we see her win that title next year maybe?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think, I mean, I live every day with a champion mindset. However, a belt would be very nice. Yeah. No, I definitely see, I'm being too humble here, aren't I? As always. No, yeah, there's definitely, I've got championship in mind, but yeah, hopefully I get my chance. I've got to have, I mean, I'm not even in the rankings at the moment, so it's hard for me to say at the moment, but I have visions that I'm going to be the champion at some point. And
you're a fast mover.
Yeah, I tend to I'll have a still pace, and then all of a sudden when it hits, it'll be, that's what I'm hoping. Yeah, once I get that microphone in my hands.
Game over. And we just have to ask you, Sadie, obviously there are so many, you know, big female wrestlers, you know, in the UK, across Europe at the moment. Any other girls that we have to watch out for? Obviously you've wrestled, you know, Lana Austin, all these incredible stars. Any other girls we have to watch out for?
In terms of being taken up by AEW?
Yeah, ones for the future.
My personal opinion is there's a lot of talent out there at the moment, and there has been in the indie scene for a very long time. Kellyanne being one of them, in my opinion, who's very underrated. I mean, actually, she's just had a match with Impact, not Impact, Ring of Honor, hasn't she?
Yeah.
But I can see her, she would be a great signee, Lana Austin especially. But in my personal opinion, I want them to build the roster they've got at the moment, establish the characters, and just really give those that they've signed a chance before looking into a new talent, because they've got a lot of talent at the moment as it stands, and I don't feel like everyone's really been utilised yet. So people like Shayna, Chana, let's say her name wrong. She's amazing. She's a veteran. She's been a wrestler for years now. So I'd really like to see her get a time to shine as well. And just, yes, while she's incredible, she's someone else I can't wait to have a match with as well. It's all the baby faces I want matches with, isn't it? It's not good. But yeah, I think they've got an incredible roster at the moment, and they need to focus on that because there could be some real good feuds to build within the roster they've got. So.
And last question, Sadie. Obviously, you've had so many matches to date. Any match that's ever stood out for you? Obviously, there's been all, they're all good matches. Would there be anything that would stand
out? In my entire career,
yeah.
well, not that it's huge, but in the I can't really count this year because I haven't wrestled. So I would say my career's been 3 years solid, really, of wrestling non-stop since being with AEW is when I've slowed down a little bit because I just wanted to commit to that.
Yeah.
But I'd say my match with Lana is definitely one of my favourites. A couple of intergender matches. So my one with Joey Janela. That was pretty brutal. That's actually on YouTube. Yeah, that was amazing. The adrenaline rush from that was crazy. So that's one of my favourites. And there's actually one.
Joey's crazy. I was on a plane with Joey by coincidence, right next to me.
Really?
New Orleans, yeah.
He is a character.
Yeah. Crazy.
He's crazy. He's like that in everyday life. He's quite quiet actually as well. But yeah, I'd say my favourite matches would have to be Lana, Kellyanne. I had a match with her in Germany, and there's a few I had in Japan. They weren't one-on-one, so it's hard to. But I had one with one-on-one, which was my main one with. Oh God, I've gone blank. Jamie Hayter.
Oh yeah.
I also think she's very talented as well. Like she's a real good heel. We had a bit of old school involved as well, and we actually a lot of it was actually because it was a time match, so we had a time limit. It was my first ever time limit match, and we actually still had a lot of time at the end of the match. We had kind of had in our, where you kind of have parts.
Yeah.
And the end of it just blew up because we just went for it, and everything was called on the spot, and it was great. It was so that match for me was really good. I like things that aren't too planned, and that you can kind of, because that's where things happen that just are creative and authentic, So that's what I like about the old school wrestling.
Can't beat old school.
I was watching a match the other day, and it was just, there's a lot of character, and it was less, there's a lot, like some matches you watch now, there's so much going on, you lose yourself, I think. Like everyone wants to get everything in, so all the flippy and cool moves that everyone can do now. But I think the thing that's makes wrestling what it is the characters, and the feuds, and just the slow parts in between all of the flips. So yeah, I'd like to see AEW bring a bit of old school back because I love it.
It's in the right hands, definitely. As you said, we've seen AEW shine. The ratings are fantastic. We're slowly seeing, the storylines, the drama, everything build up nicely, and we can't wait for you to get back to the States. Obviously, destiny is awaiting. Greatness is awaiting for you as well. It's only a matter of time.
I have to say, I went through a period when this first hit, and I kind of lost a bit of hope in my wrestling career, and I just started to think, oh, is this meant to be? Because you get an obstacle after obstacle, but they're not obstacles. The way I see it is just practicing patience, and my time will come. Yeah. So I'm just trying to put all my focus in studying and figuring more stuff out about myself so that I can be a better character and be more confident with who I am. And and bring that. So I hope when I'm back out there, I just,
We can't wait. We're going to be out that way in the near future. Obviously, when we can fly and get back on the plane, we'll come out and visit. But stay safe, Sadie. It's been an honour as always speaking to you.
You think that it's going to come to the UK?
Oh, 100%. We spoke to. I've interviewed Cody a few times.
It was meant to be this year.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was on a QT, but we heard it was going to happen. Obviously, that would have been a big thing for you as well to back in the UK. But it'll come. It's going to come, and hopefully it comes to Ireland as well.
I hope so. Yeah, definitely. I've always wanted to wrestle for OTT.
I was going to say that. Obviously, we still see the likes of Cody and Kenny Omega come to OTT, so who knows? Maybe we'll see that.
Yeah, I hope so. I've always wanted to. So it's huge, isn't it? That one. It's crazy.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
But we'll make sure to stay in touch as always, Sadie, and we'll follow your journey throughout, no doubt.
Thank you so much. I've enjoyed it.
You're a star, and I know I've got a strong Irish accent, but look, you know, we
I
talk.
got it. There was only a few things.
Yeah, I was actually born in Croydon, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah, lived in Croydon until I was 7.
So where do you live now?
I'm in Cork now, so we're south of Ireland.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, Cork City.
It's a good accent, though. It's good.
I appreciate it.
Just have to get you to slow down a couple of times there.
We are fast, but we're used to it. But listen, thanks for taking the time to speak to us, and we'll talk to you very soon, Sadie.
Thank you very much.
You're a star. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.